Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today we are doing a cattle drive. We're bringing them up the road to a lease farm from the Judy farm. I think there's 371 head coming at us, and we've got our wire up along the road. As you can see, these are the first ones just starting to approach us. And I got my my trusty roadblocker here, Jan. She doesn't let anybody through. She'll stand there and make sure nobody drives in through the cattle, and she's pretty nice about it most of the time. It's about 8:45. Everybody's at work in the morning, and I wanted to show you this farm. This is a lease farm. We've had this one since 2015, and we had Johnny come in about a week ago, and we did a lot of brush clearing on this farm. You can see the eastern red cedar down there in that pile, and thorn trees. That's about all that was on here. But what we did is we went around this whole block. This is a 40, and it's hooked onto another, let's see, 200, well, it's 240 acres on the farm. We've got 40 on the front and 100 and, let's see, 40 on the front, 200 on the back. And what we did is we came in here and unrolled hay on all the dozed area. And the cattle, they got a little patch of grass here to chew on. But they get over that hill, I'm going to show you, we've got a ton of hay unrolled down there. So the cattle are going to be inoculating the hay in the new dozed area with their poo and pee. And we've also seeded it all. So we put down fescue at about 20 pounds to the acre with our broadcast seeder on our four-wheeler. It has so many roots and stobs and stuff, and there's no way you can run a drill through it. So, boy, these things are fired up this morning, aren't they? Look at them. Even the little ones. Well, they come off that road now, they speed up. Right when they make that bend, they're cranking. Well, if you're in the way of one of them, you just get run over. One thing that's really helped is moving these cattle, even when the grass isn't growing, which it isn't right now. We still move them, and we brought some hay in. I wasn't going to feed any hay on this farm until I decided to do the brush clearing, but you can see our hay's behind those strings there. We'll be giving them another strip of grass here tonight with some more unrolled hay on the bulldozer area. This is the remnants of a stump. That was a great big old cedar stump, and Johnny's high lift made mincemeat out of it. Here's another one. That's all that's left of it. He just pushed him out of the ground, and I didn't have him do anything with him. I just had him push him out, and then I grabbed him with our grapples. The grapples are actually a little faster. You can grab them and you're not dealing with a bulldozer. Cattle are all up here on the hill right now. They haven't went over the hill. It's pretty good grass in here for, you might say, a fairly new farm. This farm's never had anything done to it. As you can see, it wasn't brush hogged. No lime, of course, and no fertilizer. But we are going to unroll some hay on here tonight, especially over these stump areas. Just let animals get some impact on those stump areas. Here's another one. But the big area is down over the hill here. I'm just going to walk down and show you what we did. Most of the cattle are like, this is pretty good stuff up here. I think I'm going to stay up here. We're using a creek down here in the very bottom for our water supply. If you look across that valley over there, we did the same thing. That was all cleared. Left the oak and the hickory and the walnut. And there's some other trees, and there's persimmon and mulberry. I leave the mulberry trees, the big ones, 'cause I like mulberries. Wild cherry, I leave those. Boy, look at that. Big old buck deer worked that bush over. That was actually a wild plum that he massacred. As we get closer down in here, there's a cow that's found the hay, way over yonder. See her? We actually have 3 big round bales unrolled, and then we pitchfork and spread it out. Now here you can see this wire is a little bit loose. Okay, I don't want to go clear down to the creek to tighten it up, and so what I can do, this is a cool trick. Watch this. So I pick it up, and this is hot. That's got 5-6 kV in it. You just take your post, see what I'm doing? And then, so I've got it wrapped up on the post now, and I just stick it back in the ground, and that's my tightener. See that? I tightened that wire without having to go clear to the end of the fence. So anytime you see one just a little bit loose, you can just grab a post and turn it sideways and twist it. We had a pretty good wind here that day. It blew a bunch of trees over. I didn't know it did this until we were in here last night. It snapped the top out of that big cedar. And on another farm, it blew the roof off of one of our little buildings that we had some of our lumber stored in. And it snapped off some trees on another farm. Just pretty hard wind. I think they said it was like 80 mile an hour or something like that, straight winds. But you can see down here in this bottom, the hay. Well, here's an area right here. Now this was pretty much all cedar and thorns, and Johnny pushed them all in a pile right there. And then last night we took our Greg Judy bale unroller, and we came in here. This has got a bale. You can see the hay. There's your carbon. There's a cow over there eating hay. She's the only one down here. Here come the rest of them. They're coming. There's a patch of broom sedge. See that brown grass over there? That's broom sedge. You don't want that. That's a terrible, some people in Missouri call that poverty grass. Well, if you've got it on your farm, you're definitely in the poorhouse as far as soil fertility. It's just nothing to lead it. And it's a sign of somebody taking hay off your property, or just really, really low fertility. And the pH on that ground is going to be probably in the high 4s or low 5s. So anyway, here's what Johnny did. He pushed these trees in, and you can see that big brush pile there. It makes an awful good habitat. So the rabbits can make homes in there. Then we came in here and unrolled hay, and of course spread it out with our pitchforks. Isaac and Ben and myself and Jan were in here for about an hour and a half last night, and we covered all the bare ground. So this is all dozer ground that I'm walking on. See, it's just covered in hay. Everything's covered in hay. But we did a rough calculation. We doubled the amount of grazable land on this farm in about a day and a half with Johnny on that dozer. And land's $4,000 to $5,000 an acre. You got to buy it. We're not paying that, of course, when we lease it. But if you can open up more ground that's not doing anything for you, as far as eastern red cedar and honey locust, thorns, elm trees, you name it. Some of this was just dead trees. We left the oaks. There's a nice oak tree. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. There's a walnut. I left the walnut tree out there. And there's a whole bunch of walnuts going up that valley right there. I'd say 80% of those are walnuts. The cattle, right now, they're just going after the grass, which I don't blame them. It's green. But this afternoon, now they're going to be in here. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. We won't move them out. Well, actually, we won't be putting a back fence in. We're just going to roll the fence up in front of them. And they'll have access to this for about, well, all day today. And then tonight, they get that hay that's on the other side of that wire. And another little strip of grass. Those cows up on top are just bawling. They're looking for their calves. Every time you have a cattle drive, that's what they do. The calves are always at the back of the cattle drive, it seems like. And then you have cows like this that they have their calf with them. That's her calf right behind her. And they're starting to arrive. Cattle are just kind of picking through it, finding the hay that tastes the best. And you know, they'll poop on this, they'll stomp on it, they're gonna lay on it. And when we unrolled it, we got a ton of seeding in here. And we had already seeded it. So we got clover seed, timothy seed, orchard grass seed. This hay's got a little bit of everything in it. And some of the complaints people have, well, if you buy your hay, how do you know it doesn't have weeds in it? Well, it might. There's never been a weed that didn't grow, that didn't eventually fall over and end up in the belly of an earthworm. So I don't get too fired up about having a few weeds. I mean, there's weeds in this pasture now. And they were here when I leased the farm. And they'll probably be here when I'm not around the farm anymore. This is just a beautiful area down here, but there wasn't any grazing in here. It was all thorn trees. The cattle would come down in here. There just wasn't much grass. But now, man, I'm excited about this. That broom sedge up on that hill, we're going to unroll hay on that. And if we can get the weather right and the ground is solid, I'm going to jumpstart this farm because I'm going to put about 3 tons of lime on that broom sedge area up there. Just to get the acidity, just knock that acidity, get it up in the 6s. If I can get the pH up in the 6 range, well, now you're looking at clover. You can grow some really nice clover, but if you got a pH in the 5s, you're not going to grow very many legumes. So to me, it's worth it. I've already made the investment in opening up the land. We've got some carbon in here, and the cows are going to do a lot of this work for us. Just a beautiful day. You know, this is middle of November. It's deer season. Actually, the middle of the week of deer season. I did hear a few shots this morning up by our house, but most people, it seems like, have went back to work and probably be hunting this weekend. There was quite a bit of shooting this weekend, and I saw 2 really nice ones on Sunday night. It just wasn't meant to be. They were running, so I didn't get to harvest my venison yet. I had a chance to get some does, but there's still a lot of season left. And Isaac, he finally saw some deer that day. He's hunting for something that's pretty nice, but he was fired up because he'd said a couple of days he hadn't seen much or hadn't seen anything. And all of a sudden he had a lot of deer around him, so that was good. And one of our landowners harvested a really nice buck yesterday morning, so tickled about that. But it's just a beautiful time of year, and we're not in the snow yet. It's 35 degrees out here. There was just a little bit of frost in the low-lying areas, but I can't wait to see what this looks like tonight. You know, we're going to have 370 head on here, and they're going to work this over. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I need to get up the hill here and help the boys take up the ribbon and get this cattle drive wrapped up, and we're going to be here for a few days, just putting some carbon down on this, what I call broken land. It needs some help. It's just screaming for help because of all the broom sedge. So we're going to do our best to change the environment of the soil, complements of the cows, and some purchased carbon. So Everyone have a good one, and this is Greg Judy signing off. Hit that subscribe button on the way out if you're a new viewer. I'd appreciate it. And also hit that like button. Y'all have a great day.